run away.
What?
Those words, run away. I want you to be famous for those exact words. I want people to call you Colonel Runaway. I want children laughing outside your door because they found the house of Colonel Runaway.
Chainsaw Man! Guys, I need to ask a question to everyone in chat. We gotta be real. I say chat like we're streaming. Chat.
Hey, chat. Anybody.
Let's get real here. Genuinely, I want responses from everybody. If I have 107 views on this video, I need 107 comments, all right? At least 20 comments. Are you ready? How we feeling? How we feeling about Chainsaw Man right now? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't hate it, but it's like I'm kind of getting a little bored, and like it sucks. I hate that that's happening because this is like a moment that should be super huge, but I don't know if I'm just getting sick of it. We're still gonna talk about it. Like, at least, you know, the worst we might do is like make it so we talk about it less often, and we like bundle chapters into chunks. But I don't know, man. Like, I think that's how I want to. There's things to talk about in this chapter, like Fumiko being fucking useless, and like I'm finally over the hill with her character. Like, I gave her so many chances, but I don't know. I mean, I genuinely. You want to start a little bit with talking on our feelings on Chainsaw Man as a series right now and where it's at, and what are you thinking? I want to hear from the comments, but also I want to hear what you're thinking, Vex.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Ear rape warning. What the fuck is going on anymore?
It's hard. I don't know. I mean, there's things happening, but it is like,
Yeah, no. Here's my honest thoughts.
Oh, you got really quiet all of a sudden. I'm not sure what happened to your audio.
I turned the gain for funny mic moment.
Okay.
But anyway, let me be fully transparent. I still love the series.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm in an RPG right now, right? And we're doing all of the side quests so we can grind, and I'm not invested in the side stories of all the other random factions right now. I feel like I'm playing fucking Morrowind.
Unfortunately, I don't even feel like that's a good because that's a good comparison if you're talking about something like, I don't know, Naruto and like that war arc that they had, or like Promised Neverland and all of its problems. But the thing with Chainsaw Man is it's like it is focusing on the main. It's not even like it has a big cast.
Yeah, you're right.
To me,
it is.
It's the pacing. And like, you know, the 2-week break every other chapter doesn't help either. And like normally I'm chill with that, but like, because like when Oda does that, it's like it's less bad because his chapters are so filled. A One Piece chapter can sometimes take me like a half hour to read. You know what I mean?
Right. No, and like here we can consume these chapters in 30 seconds.
Literally.
Let's be so fucking real right
Even
now.
Even Allie, like Allie is not like I don't know. She's not the type to be like super critical of the stuff she reads. She's just like she's a content enjoyer, you know. And,
right.
And even she is like, another fucking 30-second chapter, and I'm like, yep.
Yeah, it's bad, right? In that context, because we filmed a video last week, but we scrapped it because it was like us goop brain. I was in Detroit. I had just broken 3 toes.
How are those toes doing?
Swollen as shit still.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
Anyway, I didn't mean to derail you. Sorry.
I mean, I can manage it more now that like it's going down, and like they had taken the first layer of shit off of it. They threw on it on urgent care.
I made the mistake of derailing you. Back to Chainsaw Man. Sorry. Go.
But like, yeah. And like while I was sitting there in like the hotel bathroom filming this, we had like the similar realization. But we're like, we'll give it another chapter, and we'll kind of like view it now that it should be on a weekly schedule again because of holidays. We were so wrong.
Yeah, I was giving Fujimoto so much credit. I was like, Vex, it might just be the holidays. Let's not dogpile on Fujimoto. Listen, I'm gonna say I don't want to be unsympathetic. Fujimoto's like a human, okay? Right. I'm thinking, like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, work harder for my enjoyment. What I am gonna say is, buddy, you might be sick of doing this series. I'm getting the vibe that maybe he's burnt out. You know what I mean? Because like,
you're right. Because like we talked for a good like 10 minutes in that last video. I'll just summarize most of it here because I want to get into like what's actually happening in the story and all that shit. But like we know the big plot point is the apocalypse, right? And I
have no doubt, by the way, when we get there, it'll be fucking fire. Like I have no doubt. But yeah, go ahead.
But like, it feels kind of like the end of Promised Neverland, where like the author had 2 potential ends, right? One if they got axed at Gracefield, and then one if it continued past that. Here, it felt like, I believe the way you worded it is like he got so popular from part 1 that he's like, I have some other ideas. Let's string them along for a part 2.
I'll reword that. Yeah. So to me, it feels like. So first of all, yeah, the Promised Neverland author, it wasn't Gracefield as far as I remember. What he came out in an interview and said that his original draft for a story forever was just the first arc, right? The kids escaping from Gracefield, or did you say Gracefield or did you say Goldie Pond? I'm sorry.
Gracefield.
Okay, never mind then. You were right. Yeah, I thought you said Goldie Pond. The original story for Promised Neverland was to end it right after that first arc. And he said in that interview that multiple of the kids were going to die, which would have made the story feel a lot more realistic.
Right.
And no doubt what happened there. And he basically says it in the interview. I'll have to find this interview. I know it's something I read, though, like years ago. What happened?
We talked about it in one of the old Promised Neverland videos as well.
Yeah, what happened clearly was like Shonen Jump was like, all right, here's your series. And then once it got a little popular, they were like, all right, well, 1, we're not going to let you kill that many children. 2, you got to extend it, Or, I mean, you don't got it. They don't ever make you, but they'll, like, highly suggest, like, well.
They'll gaslight you.
Yeah. Kind of like the Gravity Falls, the guy who created Gravity Falls, when that got super popular, they were like, please. He's talked about this. Like, they begged him to do a season 3, but when he really had to put his foot down, and they finally respected it, right? So he could have, if he wanted to, ended on the first arc, but I understand, like, if you're an author, it's like, well, why I don't know, bite the hand that feeds you, I have a nice stable job here writing this story. But so anyway, back to what I was saying though, with Chainsaw Man, it does feel to me, because that part 1, I go back and read it, it feels so succinct, so, I don't know, with the exception, I think the only,
well.
Yeah, I think the only arc that's a little iffy in part 1 is the, like, International Assassins arc. That one felt a little messy, but nothing compared to the messy parts of part 2. But it felt very like he had, like, a goal. We're leading towards the Gun Devil stuff, and he, like, popped off with some of the greatest shit, right? And it feels to me like, he once again, he was like, well, damn, this is super popular. I don't want to rock the boat too much here. I can take, because the way I look at it is like, Chainsaw Man is a very open-ended story. If you as a creator are like, okay, well, that was a story I wanted to tell, but I do have, like, other ideas, I had this idea for this, the Falling Devil. And to me, it does feel like he's almost doing, I don't know, it's stringing along Adventure of the Week stuff, paced as, like, lightly as he can with, like, a slight goal towards the end. I guess, like, the arcs felt a little more like, you could easily, there's a good way to word it, right? In part 1, it felt very much like, okay, here's the Katana Man stuff, here's the Bomb Devil stuff, here's the International Assassin stuff, and then here's the Makima stuff. But in this, it really, like, literally try, I'm not even shitting you, try to segment part 2 into, like, arcs like that. You can't. Like, it's like, it's so messy. It's like, once you think you're getting an arc, like, I remember when the school shooter stuff was happening, that was, like, some of my peak excitement for Chainsaw Man, because I really thought we were going to go somewhere with that. Like, I thought that, like, that was going to be, like, a long extended thing. I thought we were going to see, like, I didn't want her to just straight up immediately turn into a devil. I wanted her to actually, like, go there and, like, do some genuine, listen, I thought he was going to be ballsy. It's Fujimoto. I thought we were going to see an actual school shooting in manga.
No, you're right. Like,
yeah, but point being, right, it's weird. The pacing's all, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to get the rest of my thoughts out. It just does feel like it's like both, he's just kind of like plopping ideas out there, but also like moving them along as slowly as he can. And that makes me feel like I wonder if he's like desperate every week to think like, okay, what happens next? Because why move so slowly? And then the one last thing I'll say, and I'll have to find the Reddit post on this because I think they made a great point. Even because there was some slow pacing in part 1 too, but it would usually be like, okay, here's a part 1 Chainsaw Man chapter, and this whole chapter's a fight, right? But what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for here? When something's like objectively true. I guess I'll say objectively. Objectively true. His paneling and his art was better in part 1. Consistently. Yeah. Like go back and read like the fight where they're fighting, where Denji is like riding on Beam, and then it's the Typhoon Devil, and then the paneling and the choreography of the fights were so interesting and engaging. But this fight we just had, where Denji is like getting held down by these guys, and then he like cuts through his own, like that was the coolest part where he cuts through his own torso. But like, and I want to, maybe if I'm wrong you can tell me, but like I swear to God, I'm reading through some of this and it's so sketchy and like hard to kind of figure out what's happening. It's almost
like some Togashi level art.
Yeah, Togashi at his, not his worst, but pretty bad, right? And it just, yeah, I guess it and it's not even just like the quality of art, like the sketchiness, but like the composition, like I said, the way it's like staged and like presented to you, like.
Go back to early part 2 and look at like the school. right? Like where you're seeing like all of them in like the windows and how that's composed and sketched out, and like the whole way he's told this story from like part 1 to like early part 2 versus now feels like a completely different person. And
Yeah.
like there's so much that can be said. I think that's like where I'm drawing my line here, right? Because I look to things like Fire Punch, because I actually went out while I was in Detroit. I bought a couple of the volumes of Fire Punch to try and figure out where the fuck we were at, right?
Yeah.
So like I bought the first 3 volumes of Fire Punch, and I look at that art style, and it's like, okay, like it's not the greatest art, right? He improved himself from Fire Punch to like early Chainsaw Man, but now he's kind of devolved back into that like kind of like early art school student, and it breaks back down to the point that we were bringing up in the last scrap video. It was like he's openly admitted he just wants to write stories moving forward. And I feel like he's reached that point of like, please, for the love of God, free me from my shackles of, popularity, kind of.
I wish, like, I don't know if there's, well, here, 2 things to say. One thing is, like, when it comes to art, we do, like, there's 2 facets to look at here. It's, like, the actual quality of the drawings itself, but so much, too, is, like, the paneling, right? Like, I just know I've shown it to you. There's a video that Eyepatchwolf has where he talks about, like, the really, like, conveying nice paneling of the Dragon Ball manga, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like it's just how easy it makes like the fight, like the easiness or the how difficult like a fight is to follow in manga. Like I used to always blame myself if I couldn't follow. Like, oh, I guess I'm just suck at reading. But like no, so much of it is like how it's paneled, right?
Right.
And like to me, it's like even beyond just like the drawing quality, because you can find sketchy shit in part 1 too. But it was always like paneled nicely. And
that was
me,
my issue with JJK. Like, I could not follow the fights in that.
I can't either. That's why, I mean, thank God for its sexy-ass anime. I mean, usually, until, when sometimes Mappa, slave drives their fucking people too hard. But,
well, I mean, when worker C-138 over there dies chained to a furnace, they got to have one person pick up 3 people slack.
I finally watched Zom 100, by the way.
Yes!
Yeah, I'm like 6 episodes in. That beginning, oh my God, the way they like conveyed like his job and how he like worked like, I don't know, what was it, like 48 hours straight before actually going home, and like he slept at the office. Oh my God. Well, like that average genuinely felt me.
You like?
Probably working on Mappa, yeah. That filled me with so much fucking dread, dude. I was like, holy shit. Especially here as I'm about to like re-enter the workforce, looking for a job and shit. By the way, I don't have the details that I did take. I don't know if I'd mentioned this on here. I took like an official like mental health autism test, just an all-encompassing like what do you have. I don't have the specific details yet, but I did get a letter back saying that I qualify for help from Michigan Rehabilitation Services, so that means I have something.
Yeah, nice.
So I gotta call them, and so anyway, confirmed.
Welcome to Mental Illness Club.
Your boys on the spectrum. Yeah, what was I gonna say?
Here's the kicker, though. Don't let them classify you as disabled. Otherwise, like, marriage is not an option.
I don't care. You don't need to be married to fucking live with the person you love. Also,
tax benefits, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, what are you talking about then? Oh, yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't really care, man. Like, if I don't. Marriage, it's all a fucking. We could just have like a party and like be spiritually married. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. That's very fair.
What was I saying? If I can get some help from the state for being a little fucking weirdo,
autistic,
I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Like at this point, man, it's dog eat dog. We all fucking die and fucking get buried in the dirt. I don't give a fuck if I'm making half my money off of welfare. I'm not gonna fucking be sad about that. I'll take it.
Valid.
Yeah, because again, you watch the first episode of Zom 100, and I'm like, yeah, please, I would like to be a welfare queen, actually, over that. I'd much rather be lying home depressed, rotting away, than being at an office depressed, rotting away. At least
Yeah, do I want to chuck boxes for a billionaire, or do I want to
doom scroll on Twitter all day? 100%.
Ouch.
That's what I'd be doing. No, I've been doing better though. Like I'll be putting my phone off to the side and fucking reading manga and shit. Anyway, this isn't mental health hour. What were we talking about? Fujimoto's mental health, right? Yeah. Man, I don't know, man. Like I just wish that he could, like, because you're right. There is that interview where he says like, because Fujimoto strikes me as the type of guy who's not gonna like hide his. He's not hiding shit. He'll come out and be like, "Oh yeah, the CEO of Shueisha."
Like he talked about killing a fish
and then eating it. Yeah, I don't think did he kill a fish or did it die and then he was gonna bury it? Something like that.
I think it just died and he ate it. And then
I wanted the fish to become part of me. Yeah, that probably inspired the Makima shit, right? Like,
yeah, no.
No, he's a weird guy, and usually people that weird are probably, I'm gonna guess, pretty susceptible to mental health problems, right?
Yeah.
And like, I think he's probably, because I think one of the most easy ways to get super depressed is to like have like a peak and then feel like you're kind of declining from that peak. Like for me, 2020, again, as fucked up as a year as it was a really good year for me. That was, I mean, Vex and I were like filming skets like out the wazoo. We were going out to parks and doing shit. It was so fun. That was when I was like my lowest weight. That's when I met Allie. You know, I got my like first successful relationship in my whole life. It was phenomenal. But now I'm still in a good place, but I've kind of regressed, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Fujimoto had like a huge high from the success of Chainsaw Man in like 2020 and 2019 when that broke out, and now it just kind of feels like he might even be having like an imposter syndrome, like he's a fraud, like fuck dude, I'm just kind of maybe he probably even thinks like fuck dude, the quality's not as good, not there anymore. Maybe he doesn't, because think about it, when we don't have the passion, when we're like fuck man, that video sucked, we can just not upload it. Man's got to have a chapter at least every couple weeks. You know what I mean? So, like, exactly. I feel for the guy because it feels to me like he's probably just kind of sick of it and phoning it in and, like, moving the story along as slowly as he can just to kind of, I don't know. And then no doubt he's going to see because, like, I don't think it's not dipping like crazy, but I do think that the sales and the popularity is dipping from what I'm hearing.
And like it kind of sadly makes sense, right? Because the quality is declining, and we live in a world where there is an infinite pool of content to go out and view. As disgusting as it is to consider this content, that's what it is at the end of the day. Because we sit and consume as much content as possible to kind of escape our shitty little lives and our problems, right?
That's why I push for, if you're having mental health problems, try creating content. Like not just YouTube, but like just create, like give yourself moments to create. It's even if you don't think you're good. Here's the thing, right? Like sometimes it's I like to sit down and write. It's been tough because like I don't believe in myself sometimes, but it's really, really like rewarding to like write a fucking fanfic. And before you say, oh, it'll be shitty, bro, have you seen half the fucking fanfics out there?
I point you to the entire Omegaverse.
Wait, okay? You can't diss on the Omegaverse. That's Allie's whole shebang, bro.
I'm sorry, but like I have dabbled in that.
You talking about like the male pregnancy shit?
That's part of it, but like
ABO.
Yeah.
Allie loves it. I've learned so much.
But the objectively 90% of the fics in that are absolutely horrendous dog shit.
Oh yeah, I mean it's no doubt a little weird, but some people really want men pregnancies, and that's the best way to go about it.
As somebody who suffered through Supernatural, I have seen so much D-Stel Omegaverse shit that I want to gouge my eyes out and eat them.
The next video on this channel is going to be an hour and a half long debate between Allie and Vex on the Omegaverse.
I refuse.
Well,
I put my foot down there. I cannot afford therapy right now.
That's great. But yeah, I don't know. I like, and hopefully people are enjoying this conversation because I can't imagine any other Chainsaw interviewer is talking about like how's Fujimoto's mental health right now.
But like
Fujimoto, if you're watching this, buddy, we care about you. Message us on our Twitter, man. Like you want to come on as a guest, talk about how you doing, talk about your declining manga quality.
Elbo's here to help you.
Yeah. Me and Vex can definitely help you. Just hire an artist, dude. Like it's the same thing I'll say to Togashi. If you're sick of doing art, you got to do what you're passionate about. If you're still passionate about making the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I urge you, like for like the Togashi side of things, like I can just tell you there are people out there that would not mind reading a 300-page novel of like the rest of it.
Dude. Fucking, I have read enough manga now where, like, I'm gonna say it. I think all manga should be the type where one person does the story and one person does the art. You know what
Thank
I mean?
you.
Because that splits it up so much better. You know, I feel like for their mental health, because like all the manga I read where that is the case, the art is like sublime. You know what I mean? Like
Dr.
Hanako is
Stone,
that. Hanako.
Because
like
Death Note.
yeah, I didn't know that for a bit, but the Hanako author, their pseudonym it's like Aldiro or something, and like it's actually the first part of one of their names and the last part of the other one of their names, so it is like a 2-person crew as well.
Yep.
But yeah, like all those manga, the art is great because they fucking go out and find someone who's passionate about drawing. Like their whole thing is like, I fucking love drawing, right? Whereas if you're like a one-man operation, you don't just have to think about the fucking story. You gotta, now I gotta draw it, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that's where like Record of Ragnarok's suffering right now as well. Like it like the art used to pop off, but right now it's just like fucking.
Oh no, even that guy kind of?
Like it's not horrible. It's just like it feels like the team behind that is like suffering from success right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like that's why like you have to find like an inhuman guy like Oda, and even his art has had like degradation. I don't know if I'm using that word right. It's degraded. It's still pretty good.
Two separate things there. One of them is very much my thing.
Oda. No. Yeah, you're right. It's not Oda that has the degradation cake. It's Fujimoto. Yeah, I don't know, and especially because like a lot of, and like not to get super deep, but like Fujimoto. I mean, like what something. There's nothing more rewarding or like I don't know, relieving than like putting your own struggles into your art. And like what's Denji's arc right now? It's literally like I've gotten everything that I've wanted and I'm still depressed, right?
Yep.
So I mean, like I have no doubt that Fujimoto's probably going through something similar, you know. And I feel like, oh geez, yeah, I guess I just hope that, because there's nothing worse than like driving something that you once loved into like, now I fucking hate it because I have to do it because, you know, the capitalism has like made me do it like once a week and like not just my own schedule. You know, I'm sure he wishes he could just like webcomic that shit or like do what the dude who does Chojin X, you know Chojin X?
Yeah, the new stuff from Sue Yoshida. I
don't know what fucking contract he signed where he can just plop chapters out whenever the fuck he wants. I have no idea how that works, but yeah.
Like it's the imprint essentially. Like I think it's Jump SQ. But I'm not entirely sure on that. I'm sure somebody's going to correct me in the comments for that. But I can give a little bit more insight into like the doing what you love and it driving you insane, because like I work with a lot of bands that tour a lot, and like you don't really realize how fucking exhausting that is for those people until you've seen like the toll it takes on their mental health and their relationships and everything there. That's why a lot of musicians stay single and just, you know, unfortunately have these like relationships with fans as well, because they're away from like everything, but they still have that like need of comfort of like somebody to be there at night, right? And then there's the two sides of it. The one is like the one that ends up getting a band canceled because they're a fucking disgusting piece of shit. And then there's the one that's like, well, I'm just going to fuck this like 30-year-old fan that's a, you know, thing there, right? But like at the end of the day, like if you can persevere through, like I as an artist, right, as a musician myself, I think like the rewarding factor for that is put out what you enjoy and don't ever succumb to the I need to tour every fucking week out of the year and kill myself for art, right? That's the line I kind of draw myself at here. And it feels like Fujimoto's falling down that trap of like the touring band, essentially. Like,
well, think about it. That's probably why he's, I mean, like he took like that 2 year and a half break between part 1 and part 2, and he did a bunch of like one shots that he was probably, you know, like stories he wanted to tell. But now he's back, trapped in the confines of, and that's his most successful work.
And like to give like a little bit of context to that, like that's why there's like an album cycle for a band, right? They tour basically nonstop for like a year, 2 years, and then take time off of the road to kind of rekindle their passion and put out the next thing, right?
Yeah.
And it gives them freedom to like have a life for a brief period.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad like my schedule this year as a crew member is so fucking light, because like most of the bands that I work with are like on that break from their album cycle. Like I have maybe 3 commitments this entire year, and that gives me time to sit down and do things like this as well, because I'm not sitting out there doing other things, on the road. So I get to actually go back to streaming with you and making content with the other guys and do all this shit because I have the freedom because they have the freedom, right? But at the same time, like with Fujimoto, he doesn't have that as long as he's under this contract with, Shonen Jump, and he's having to fucking sit there and slave away. And you can feel that passion dying as the story continues. And I don't think it will ever be objectively as bad as like Late Game Promised Neverland, but I do want to put out there like now, I feel like we should kind of make this like a monthly series.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it keeps being, I don't know, maybe we'll bundle them into 2. I mean, the only problem is objectively, like, view-wise, that'll always be, like, less good for, like, algorithm stuff. But, I mean, at the same time... And
I don't want to kill the passion I have for the series more and more as we kind of try to force a video, though.
Here's the thing. As long as you and I can... Because to me, what's always been great about our content is that we can do a... And I'm air quoting here, you can't see it, so I gotta tell you. We can do a Chainsaw Man review that's an hour and a half long, and for 45 minutes of it, talk about, like, I don't know, fucking anime waifus or something. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, I'm willing to do a video for every chapter, even if it's, like, a dog shit chapter, as long as we're able to, like... As long as it's not really, like, do we have passion about the chapter or the series, but more like, are we in a good mood to like bounce off of each other and talk about bullshit? Because I feel like we can, because that's kind of, again, that's always kind of been the fun of our content. Like, remember back when we did Spy X Family and we did the picture reviews, you know what I mean? Where we would review the one-page color pages and talk for
jokingly
like
making a Feet Finder account for your...
Yeah, so like to me, I think as long as we're still feeling that,
I love that idea. Yeah. I love that idea. I really do. But I'd also like to review something else that I have
no
more
doubt.
passion
Yeah,
about.
but your ass won't, read what I want you to read.
And neither will you, bitch.
I don't know, man. Sakamoto, I didn't...
Find something and see, like, if I can enjoy it. Find something goofy, funny.
I don't understand why you don't like Undead Unluck.
I would rather gouge my eyes out than read that.
Literally, dude. Your hatred of that is so over the top and cringe. I don't understand. Like, we're getting into it. I don't get it. Like I literally, especially like on his like redraw of like a fucking Dragon Ball volume cover. It's like, it's comical, man. Like, you don't need to fucking hate boner this guy. I guess I don't get it. I mean, like I read because I agree with you that like I was dubious of it for a bit, but like Andy really likes it, and so
Andy likes nothing.
He's very closed off with his I don't know. He's not like one to immediately jump to saying he loves something. So if he really likes it, he really likes it. But what was I gonna say? Here's the thing. Here's what I want to say about Undead Unluck. Because to me, one of the things I loved so much about Fire Force is I like series that like fuck with like the nature of reality, right? Like reality warping powers and shit like that. So like the Cataclysm in Fire Force is really cool. And like as you get further along in like Undead Unluck, there's cool shit like, oh, there's like time, there's like universe loops happening, and every time the universe gets to an endpoint, it like loops around on itself, and like there's this thing where you can like ride through it and not erase your memories. I like wacky shit like that, so I just don't know why you hate it so much, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of really interesting concepts that remind me of something real quick. That remind me of something that like Okubo would do. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
There's cool concepts in it, but there's no stakes whatsoever if you continue to like reset the universe constantly.
No, it's the last loop is the one they're on now. It's
and like it just feels so stale to me as an RPG player. It's something I've seen a million times.
To me, and I don't blame you for this, because I've done the same thing, right? Where we make our judgments on things after seeing like a little bit or whatever. To me, it feels like your mind is still in like that first 30 chapters or so. Because
I have read through the first 50 chapters 3 times, and I still hate it.
And you're allowed to. I guess because like to me, I just have a hard time agreeing with the criticism that it's stale, because it's very interesting in my opinion.
And it's more because you haven't experienced like a half dozen stories that do the same thing, where I have so like because you play more of like the platformer style games. I've fought God a million times. I've done like the time loop shit in like dozens of different, RPGs. So like to me, it's just something I've experienced and experienced it done better.
That's fair.
But yeah, like there's a lot of good stuff in Shonen Jump right now. I'd even put my money on Kagurabachi if it stays like being halfway decent, and I hate to say that because it's a meme series, but like I'm enjoying what I've seen of it, and it's something like once it hits like past that fucking axing point, I'd be willing to like dive into that.
To look into it. I heard vaguely that. I think I saw King of Lightning tweet about it, and he said it was like mid, but like I'll have to.
The King of Lightning is like objectively the worst person to get any opinion from, though. He's said cringe things in the past, but I don't hate him. I do still quite like his content. He's very entertaining. But he is like a power scaler first, like yeah. And like this is not a series that you can really power.
I don't know
scale.
anything about it. I just thought my understanding of it.
Chapter.
Well, my understanding of it was that it was like a totally like its popularity is like entirely based on like memes.
It was at first. Like I don't think it's going to stick around though. It's definitely.
I would be shocked. No, I heard that it actually is selling decent. Like I had heard that recently, and people were like, "Damn, the power of memes." I think it might actually.
It's still like in the bottom of like the TOC.
Is it really?
So
the rating?
yeah,
Okay. Well, we'll see that.
So like, but like there's a lot of good stuff. Like Freyren, we could review because you watched the anime of that.
Freyren, I need to watch more of it. Freyren was like one of those things where I watched it and I was like, okay, this is decent. Like I thought it was good, it was nice, it was entertaining, but it like wasn't like jumping out at me. It was like a perfect 7 out of 10 from what I saw. I was like, okay, like, this is nice.
That's fair,
and it's definitely quality. But I was like,
there
wasn't that hook though yet. Like the thing that was like, ooh.
Oh, there's a hook in the anime.
Okay, I need to watch more then. Yeah.
But like I'm caught up with that. I caught up with Yo's Fam. Like I am caught up with all the stuff that I was reading weekly, and that's shocking to me that I've stayed caught up, all while reading One Piece. And that is like the world's.
One Piece is one. I'll be honest with you. Like One Piece is a commitment, man. Like if you, I'm almost a little concerned to talk about One Piece with you because like there's so many lore bits that like I have no doubt, and I don't blame you for this at all. The only reason I know is because I've rewatched and reread this like 3 times with different friends. There's so many little things that you'll forget that'll like become important again. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. But I have 1,000 channels out there to help do that backlog for me.
True, yeah. Well, and I'll remind you about stuff too. Yeah. But no, I actually have been in contact with Thurman. We're gonna do what we decided is once the current arc that it's in right now stops, we're gonna do a whole like arc overview on it.
Nice.
So and that should be within the next 10 to 20 chapters. It's wrapping up.
That's good. I might be caught up by then. I might not.
You know what I might do is have Allie in it because Allie's caught up now too.
Nice. Like,
don't rush. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not rushing.
I was going to say, that's a big thing. You don't want to rush with One Piece. You really enjoy the journey. You want to let it sink in, Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's solely, like, my pace right now is solely based on if I keep my job. Because I'm buying the box sets to make myself go through. So that way I have a financial burden attached to this piece of content to make me consume it.
Yeah.
Because, like, the way my brain works, and this is just the stupidest way for like that to function. Like, I feel like if I put money into something,
that makes
I'm
sense.
going to have.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
I'm going to stick with it better. Because like $2 to me for the Shonen Jump app, like who the fuck even notices $2 falling out of their bank account?
Yeah,
right?
I love that. By the way, I give them so many props for the pricing of that. Like I think that's so smart. I think the way that they handled that is like actually unironically the best way to like defeat piracy. Right? You make like a really good service that's like super easily accessible, but then like. In the exact opposite, the way that like Kodansha handled their shit with the fucking points and all this dumb ass shit fucking like,
that and manga up.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. I read Chainsaw Man legally because it's easy. It's out at the exact same time, right?
Right.
I read Hanako on Manga Dex from I think it's Drunk Bath Salts is the one that does the scanlation. Don't ask me why.
I love the names of these.
It used to be there was 2 that did it. There was Ropes of Fate and drunk bath salts. Ropes of Fate stopped when the officials started coming out because they were like, oh, well, you know, we feel like it's the right thing to do, pointing towards the officials. But then I tried to use the officials, and it's fucking dumb. It's like, it's the point thing, right? But then it's also like, okay, not sure, okay, for the newest...
And it's not just one part of a chapter for some of the series. It's 3 fucking parts for Domestic Girlfriend.
God. And that's it's for Hanako too. It's 3 parts for some reason. And then it's even worse. That's not even the last thing, okay? I like to read chapters on my laptop because I want a nice big screen. You know what I mean? I want a nice big screen to really enjoy the art. But no, don't ask me why. They
don't have a PC app.
Yeah. I tried the PC app. I don't know if it needed like a certain browser, but it was like the hoops that I was having to jump through to just read the official translation of Hanako. I was like, I
tried to read Rich Hat Altair in 3 different fucking browsers, and every single one I encountered a different issue. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'll go back to pirating it.
Yeah, and I don't feel guilty because I buy every single volume of Hanako, like the micro set when it comes out. So.
I started buying Go Go Loser Ranger. I still hate the fucking localized name.
Wait, and is that No,
the Power Rangers manga.
I was thinking of the one where Love After World Domination. Do you know that one?
No, I don't.
Oh, you should read. It's a dumb fucking comedy parody romance thing. It's the idea is like it's very Power Rangers coded, right? So imagine if like one of the Rangers fell in love with like one of Rita Repulsa's like minions or something, and then they have to like keep their love on like the down low.
Oh God,
that's literally what it is. It's like this like Power Rangers villain falls in love with like the Red Ranger, and then like they're like madly in love, and so every time they meet up to like have their battle, they're like pretending to fight, and then they like find a place to like scuttle off and like have a date while everyone else is fighting for their lives. Yeah, it's called Love After World Domination.
Yeah, so Go Go Loser Ranger is kind of like if the entire plot of Power Rangers was like televised content, and the whole thing is like rigged and everything. Like that's the baseline plot of it, but like there's actually more going on in the background. But yeah, like I started buying that, and I started buying Witch Hat because I want to support it.
Yeah.
But fuck K-manga.
Dude, I gotta say, I'm so glad, and I hope that this continues to last, because a lot of industries are trying to like phase out physical content because they don't want you to own anything. They want you to pay a subscription fee in perpetuity. You know what I mean? And like I'm really
Ubisoft be like, get used to not owning your content.
You see this happening more and more in like everything, by the way. Like future cars are trying to make it so you have to pay a subscription fee for like heated seats and shit. Like you know what I mean? It's insane. So like. I really
my Uber. Here's the funny thing. Like my Uber, he did not pay like his fee, so like it turned off like the whole entertainment system in his Tesla.
Yeah, well, I'm just so happy that like manga companies are still, as far as I can tell, they still really lean into like the physical stuff. Like Viz was even recently tweeting about how like, oh, do you prefer your stuff digitally or physically? And like they're showing off all the like, and they do like the hardcover stuff. And I think that, I don't know, I'm pretty confident that like book readers will always, because book readers love having physical books. I have a hard time seeing that kind of getting phased out. And I'm, as much as I can, I fucking buy the shit out of physical. I will never, if I really like something, I want to have it physically. I do not want to fucking have the chance them just being like, yoink, actually, just kidding. You're not allowed to have that anymore.
Yeah, here's like the fear for me, right? As a gamer, Microsoft just laid off like their entire physical media division.
Oh yeah.
And like the leaks, like Party Champs and I talked about this on the other podcast. Like the leaks are showing like all of their consoles moving forward. Kind of. This was from like the Activision Blizzard.
Remember they tried that shit fucking with Xbox. I think when the Xbox One was first coming out. They
something similar.
That was a whole thing where it was going to be like it always has to be connected online, and then there was like a pushback. Yeah,
there was always online, but now like all of their consoles moving forward are looking to be essentially like digital only.
Don't support Microsoft. Become fucking Nintendo pilled.
No.
Why? They're unironically the best game. I don't give a fuck, bro. There's already fucking like leaks coming out that like about the Switch's successor, and I've already read that it's still gonna be like physical, like still have like physical cartridges. I love that.
I'm 100% like glad on that. It's like I don't like enough Nintendo titles to be solely Nintendo based. Well,
that's okay.
I'll
Become
always,
Sony pilled then.
I own a PS5. I own a Nintendo Switch. I do not own the new Xbox
Perfect.
Series because
Fuck Xbox.
because like I can play all of the games that I want to play on my fucking PC.
Well, it's interesting, right? Exclusives don't really exist anymore except for Nintendo. You know what I mean? The way that they
like
hold on
fucking
to their,
like they're putting Until Dawn on PC now. But like anyway, getting back to what I was saying, like they're if you get banned on Xbox Live, your entire digital library is lost.
Disgusting, dude.
Right? Like, even if you paid them for the digital copy, it no longer exists to you because you cannot sign into your Microsoft account, right? And that is a scary future because, like, they have in the works this AI, like, voice chat filtering system similar to what Call of Duty is doing. And it's probably the same tech as now they own Activision. If you say anything remotely sus in Call of Duty, you get banned, right?
And so yeah, let me put it out there. I'm for, like, sure, ban them, cancel them, but don't take away my brother's games, okay? Like just because someone's screaming the N-word on Twitter, okay? I want them banished from society, but they should still be able to, like, I don't know, eat a pint of ice cream and play Call of Duty.
Right, they should still be able to play the content that they fucking paid
for, if you
right?
bought something, like, okay, sure, just banish them from society, but you don't go and, like, fucking repo their house. It's like, Jesus, they bought the thing.
Right, like, that's the side of things I don't understand. Like, ban them from voice chat, you know?
Literally,
they can no longer communicate with Christmas news.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. It should just be, like, or just, like, even, like, no online ever. Sure, that's like, okay, you still get to play your games, but, like, you can't play them on. You better fucking enjoy the single player campaign, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's the side of things. Like, there's a limit to moderation that I want to see. Like, if you are going to a digital future, because, like, if I'm paying $70 fucking for a game and I get banned because I tell my friend in chat to suck my dick, you know, I'm not going to participate in your platform, right? Because there's a difference between me, you know, saying the N-word, and there's a difference between me telling my teammate to suck my dick because they didn't heal me, you know.
Right.
And
either way, you buy something. It's just you should own the things you buy, and increasingly,
exactly.
Yeah, that's what this comes down to. Now, should we briefly in this 40-minute video for maybe like 10 minutes talk about Chainsaw Man?
Fuck Fumiko.
Oh my god,
she's useless,
guys. I'm just gonna say it, all right? Like, if you've been following the arc of these reviews, okay? I don't know, man. Like, there was a time where I believed in this author. I really thought. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. I really thought that she was set up to have like an arc, you know. And I guess, I mean, maybe, you know. And I thought that her fandom of Chainsaw Man was like, she kind of declared herself as like, oh, I'm not just like one of the fans. I actually like care about you as a person. But I guess it's all bullshit. I guess it really was all bullshit. You know, and I should have.
I see two sides to this, right? Yeah. Because, like, one, fuck her because she's not doing her job. She also has a fucking gun.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, I literally thought that, like, the point of you existing here was, like, to fucking make sure. Oh my god, because that's, again, like.
So correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I mean, comments section. If you've watched this long into this fucking video, please, for the love of God, Red.
Of course you have.
Please, for the love of God, Red, put a timestamp for when the actual review starts.
Well, yeah. The problem is, I feel like the beginning of the conversation was pretty good too, though. The mental stuff. But yeah, I'll say, yeah, I will.
But like, I feel like there's still a fear of guns in this universe, right? Like, it hasn't declined to the point where, like, oh, it's just a gun. This is what, Detroit? Oh, who cares? You know? But like,
I mean, the public safety officers have guns, yeah. But the citizens don't.
But, like, you would think her firing a warning shot to disperse the crowd that's beating on Denji
that's a great point. Yeah.
Would, you know, instill a little bit of fear. Like, oh, shit, this bodyguard means business. You know? And, you know, they're not going to interfere with public fucking safety, you know?
Yeah, I'm just reading her dialogue here. She says it's hopeless. And then, you know, I thought you were a fan. I'm a public servant first and a fan second, risking my life to help save. What? Like, dude, what are you talking about? Like,
your job as a public officer is to risk your life for the fucking public.
And your mission, to me, I'm going to be honest with you, like, to me, it almost feels so jarring that it feels like beyond a character decision and more like bad writing. Like, I mean, I don't want to, maybe there's a plan here, trust in the plan, I don't know, but like, it's like so jarring. It
seems like some heavy copium because she has devolved from the time she was introduced.
Well, to me, it's just so jarring because I thought that, okay, because like, the first time we see her, she fucking like launches herself at like a dude trying to kill Denji to save him. Right. And then like,
but I guess that's because it was a one-on-one fight.
I don't,
who knows?
But
like we also saw her in there doing the like dancing dance fight with a ball bat.
Yeah. So like I said, so like here, let me try to parse out my thoughts here, because there's that. There's the thing that she's like, oh man, like I feel like, I'm a fan of yours, and like I really want to make your life better because of the whole thing she said about,
I'm not just a Chainsaw Man fan, I'm a Denji fan.
Literally. So I don't know, and unless, I mean, is what I'm supposed to take from this that she really was just manipulative the whole time? Because I don't know where this goes, because like I also, like, what was her goal? What was... Because again, like, now that I've been
was her goal to get laid?
No, but I don't even see that. Because if that was the goal, it would have been very easy. It's Denji. So like, I genuinely can't. I thought I had a lock on this character.
If she unbuttoned her pants just slightly, he would have probably tried to slip in.
I thought I had a lock on this character, and I don't, because like I was gonna say something. Hold on. Yeah, because like now that I've been writing fanfics and stuff, like I think to myself now, like, okay, how would I have written this character? And for me, with her setup, I would have had her be like decently powerful, and I would have had her like genuinely like she's problematic, but she does like have this maybe even like a weird parasocial relationship with Denji, where she like, I feel like it would have been super interesting to have her unironically be like the person that's like, no, don't transform into Chainsaw Man because I want you to be able to live your normal life. And then the conflict there is like Denji like, but I don't want to live a normal life. I want to be Chainsaw Man. But she's like, no, trust me, you'll be happier if you just live your normal life. I genuinely thought that she was like a true believer in like she took this job because she was like, oh, I know that kid. I saw him transform during the fight with the gun fiend. He's just a sad boy. And I feel terrible for it. Like, I thought that was genuine. I thought that, like, among all the problematic elements of her, I thought her, like, love for Denji as, like, a person was genuine. And I thought that was going to be super interesting to see play out. And this comes back to the crux of my issue with, like, recent Chainsaw Man stuff. It feels like he sets up cool ideas and then they just, like, just fall flat. Is, like, genuinely, do you think she'll ever appear again after this? Like, I could see her just disappearing forever. And, like, there was no point at all to her character.
Like, I figure she'll pop up to get popped off, I figure, like, she's going to end up dying in the escape here, probably, because that seems to be how Fujimoto handles his background characters, is, like, they and this is a problem I've had for a while with, like, his cast, I think we talked about in part one, like, everybody dies, like, but in part one, their death was at least a little bit more impactful, right? Anyway, like with characters like Aki and Power and, characters we saw, take a little bit of time to get introduced into the cast. And like, as much as we're memeing on like Fumiko here, like she was still part of the cast for a decent amount of time because like most public safety officers die instantly in the series, right? So we don't really get to like look back to like the Typhoon Devil shit. We watched like 8 of them get murdered in like 3 seconds. But at the same time, like we also like with her, I could see her just getting one-shotted off screen and then never seen again. Like,
well, she has this like she has a unique design. She had a whole long intro. There were whole chapters devoted to like that moment where Octopus Boy is like, it's been so long since we've seen him, I've forgotten his name.
Yoshida.
Yeah.
I have it.
Octopus Boy fucking like introduces them and is like, yeah, this girl wants to date you. and it's like, so you'd think her character would be going somewhere interesting, but like, I guess not, right? So I don't know. I just thought it'd be really interesting if she
here at the funny thing is like Bareem has her gun, I think. Like at the end, like the last page. Bareem has a fucking gun now. So I could see him just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to kill her and escape.
At this point, I don't even know if she will die because she's not even in their way. She's just dipped. I mean, like, I just thought that, like, Jesus, man. Okay, here's the thing, though. There is one line that I do kind of like here. And it's been a while since her backstory, but, like, I think, if you remind me here, her thing was that her parents died during the fight with the gun fiend, right?
Yep.
So I will say, I do like this line. I mean, it's fucked up, and it makes, I mean, she's like literally a sociopath, but like, Nayuta's like, genuinely, and I can like, actually, I did like this part, because Nayuta, she's like, please help us, and she's stuttering. I can like hear the emotion in her voice, and I can imagine, like, how desperate she sounds, and like probably like a first for Nayuta, because she's probably normally very like in charge and like sarcastic, right? So she's like pleading, like, our family just died in a fire, don't you feel bad for us? And she's like, family? Weren't they only pets? Which not only is like oh my god, she's a sociopath, that's insane. But also, I do like that line from her, because her backstory is that her family actually did die in like a tragedy, right? And real quick, let me finish. So like I can actually see, to me, like that was an interesting moment, because there's like some resentment there, where she's like, because I guess again, like when I first saw her backstory, I was under the impression that like she was like, oh, I'm not mad at you about that. But now I wonder if maybe that she was kind of coping, and there is like some like hidden background resentment that her family wasn't saved. So she's like, don't even talk to me. Oh, your fucking dogs died in the fucking fire. Sorry. My fucking family actually got crushed by shrapnel during your fucking fight. So like that line I did like, but like,
yeah, like yeah. I can see her kind of point too, because, me as a pet parent, I would risk, life and limb to save my cats. But at the same time, like, to the average person, it's just like, oh, who cares? Like, it's a dog, it's a cat.
I don't know about the average person. A lot of people really do love their dogs. I think she's a lot more on the sociopathic end of the spectrum. I feel like most people, it's like such a huge red flag if you don't like dogs and cats. Are you kidding me?
Like, those that don't own dogs and cats don't understand, like, the emotional attachment that pet owners have to their pets. And there are people that outright, like, just hate animals. That's like
red flag behavior.
Yeah, that's red flag behavior. But at the same time, like I understand like the line there, like it's not a human, especially from her perspective. It's not human. It's not like your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother. I lost everyone I knew and loved. In this fight with the gun fiend. Fuck you for putting them on the same type of pedestal.
I like that. That's cool characterization for her. The main
I understand like the willingness to want to survive, because that is like instinct 101, and especially like in a world where like her job is like you're signed up to it as like a fucking death warrant essentially, right? But her job assignment was like bodyguard to Chainsaw Man. That's where I'm like drawing the line of like fuck you.
To me that's the part that bothers me the most about her, is that like I don't know, I feel like she hyped herself up, and she was like built up as like, I'm actually like, I didn't expect her to be godly, like defeat fucking Darkness Devil 1v1 or whatever. Like I just thought that she would be, I don't know, semi-useful in protecting Denji at any point of time ever. Like it's like insane how like,
we saw her in one fight, she was a badass, and then now she just devolved into the cowardly lion.
Barely, by the way. That one fight it was just one dude that she like beat the shit out of. Like it's not that, but yeah. Like I said before, Kobani was better. Kobani literally had like better feats.
No, like 100 fucking percent. And I don't understand like why we were hyping this character up.
That's what it comes back to. Like a waste of time, waste of chapters.
If she's just going to devolve into as useless as your average background character. And that's where I find a lot of the fault with this recent stuff, and that brings us back to the beginning of this video.
It does, yeah. I mean that's literally what it feels like. He's like kind of week by weeking it, whereas like I don't know, it's like so strange.
I'm going to throw out a comparison. I think I talked about in the last video that we scrapped. It feels almost like Dragon Ball, right? If you look back to Toriyama, he said he wanted to end it like Frieza, and then he drug it on because of Cell, and then all these different arcs, and he finally got to end it after Boo. But like at every single pace, he was like, the editors were like, no, this is not a good stopping point. It's selling so well. No, you can't stop it here. This isn't a good ending point. It almost feels like that. Like they want more content from Fujimoto because like he's one of their golden boys now. I don't feel like it's like 100% that way, but at the same time, like there's enough enjoyable there to keep me attached to the story.
Yep.
But at the same time, like I don't enjoy this the way I used to, because it feels useless to read the chapter sometimes when it like nothing happens. Literally all of these last like 4 chapters could have been 1 chapter.
I won't go as far as saying nothing happens. The way I'll put it is, if this is an anime episode, each chapter is like 30 seconds.
Exactly.
It's insane. Like it's
like,
so good.
That's why I said like all of these could be 1 fucking chapter. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like
literally, once we get to fucking part 2 in the anime, I'm not shitting you. Like some of these, like they'll be able to fucking do like 6-7 chapters for 1 episode.
No shit, it's ridiculous. That's why I feel like Rize's like arc will work really good as a movie because it's all action.
Yeah. I saw people like, how is that gonna work? I'm like, have you read it? Like, it's half those fucking chapters are just action, but it's good action. It's like
good action.
Yeah, it's like some of the best action in Chainsaw Man, to be honest with you.
This entire arc, if you could call it that, could be an OVA. I'm not even shitting you.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. What even is the confines of the arc? Like, genuinely, help me find structure in this. You can't. Like
the first 2 bits of like part 2, like you have the school arc.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, that I'm glad we're doing this.
The darkness or the falling devil arc, right?
But then what?
And after that, what the fuck is the structure?
Here's what I'm gonna exactly right. So part 1, you could easily be like, okay, we got the katana. We got the Bomb Devil, we got the International Assassins, and we got Makima Gun Devil, okay? Then part 2, it's like, okay, let me try to fucking scrape this together. Part 2, you got a little chunk where it's like the Bucky, Asa shit, and then, she meets Yoshida, and then what would be the first big arc? I'm trying to think. Like, when did the aquarium shit happen, where they're trapped in the aquarium?
Volume 13?
Oh, God, I'm trying to remember. Like, I don't know.
I believe it's volume 13, because 14 is Famine's introduction.
Yeah, so like I'm losing track. It's so messy. There's.
I can just look at my Amazon orders right now.
Fuck it. I'm over it. Yeah, I was gonna try to do a thing, and then I was like, nope, never mind.
It's not worth the content.
Yeah. But I guess the only other things there's another part that's fun to talk about here, which is, Nayuta's probably a little mad at Denji here. Because of his whole thing where it's like, you know what? Maybe you should leave. And like, there's a part here where through this guy that's carrying him away, I didn't realize that Denji was like collapsed on the floor from the last. I figured because they were like, run, Denji. So I thought he got away. I guess he didn't. I must have missed that. So like, he literally does need.
Yeah, volume 14 is where Famine is introduced. So that would be like the.
Like I said, I'm over it. It's all a big mess. It's like you said. It's like only actual structured arcs I can think of are like the school shooter arc, the aquarium fucking Eternity Devil returning arc, and then the Falling Devil is the biggest one that actually feels like a part 1 arc to me. Like that, I really liked that. But and then beyond Falling Devil, what the fuck even?
Yeah,
it's just been like
the Church of Chainsaw Man was like 3 chapters, 4 chapters. And then we had like the Fire Devil stuff that came out of that, and now we're in like the oh shit, everything's fucked.
Mm-hmm. But it's moving so slowly, like I can't even you know what I mean? It's like.
Have you read Devilman, like the actual manga?
No, I watched the Crybaby. Yeah.
Okay, so what this entire arc feels like to me is the end game of Devilman. So.
Is it kind of similar to the Netflix? Because I do remember when like the devils were popping off and shit.
Yeah, it's kind of similar, but like it takes a little bit longer for all the pieces to fall into place, and it's because of the pacing of Crybaby. But like, I read the entirety of that manga on stream, and it is mind-boggling, like the parallels between it. But the difference is Gonagai did such a better job with the chaos. Because he had planned the chaos, the unraveling of all the characters and the temptations and everything. Whereas here, it's just unmitigated chaos. It feels... I'm going to get canceled for this. It feels like the 2020 riots.
I don't think you have a grasp of what would get you canceled.
like everybody's running around causing chaos, and there's no structure to it whatsoever. But at the same time, there's so many moving pieces that nobody can keep up with it all.
That was a leftist critique of the 2020 riots. Is like, these are good, but we need to come together and have like an obvious like want. They have to be organized. You got to be like, okay,
we don't want to go into Target and steal a fucking 75-inch TV.
The riots stop when we get this. That's how you do
Yeah.
riots.
Exactly.
But anyway, but yeah, just a couple more things for the chapter here. Like again, like this chapter to me, it's like so there's so much time wasting in these chapters that there's like 3 parts I want to talk about. Right, like all these pages where they're like, get her, no, don't get me, I'm a kid, get her anyway. There's like 10 pages of that.
Yeah, no, like I'm back on 153 just to kind of like go through this, and like last week's chapter, right? You see Nayuta kind of go back into like the moment of like, now I can go crazy moments here.
Well,
right?
that's what I want to talk about, right? So we have two major things to talk about left in this chapter, and then we're done. So okay. I like her being like, you thought you fucking didn't need me. Big mistake, right? So no doubt that's going to be a thing, like he's, I wonder, and again, you want to hope that this means stuff's going to shift and change in the story, but I've been proven wrong about that before. But my hope from this panel is that the relationship, the dynamic between Nayuta and Denji is going to change here, and she might get a little more Makima-like, a little more, but see, I'm hoping that Denji doesn't forget his experience. I just hope that this causes more division, more strife between them, more like her like, no, fuck you, I'm going to control you now, and Denji be like, no, fuck you, I want to see where that goes. And then I like, this is interesting, because she's like, okay, maybe I can just hold back and kill a bunch of people, or not hold back and kill a bunch of people, and then she tries, and she's like, no, this isn't really fun. Like, video games is better than this. This is lame. I could never be changed. I don't see what Denji sees in this.
Yeah, no, like, because of how he's raised her, and, like, he's done the thing he was supposed to do. He kind of created a better version of Makima, right? You see Bareem here.
I get the idea. I don't think Makima was, like, got off by killing either, but, like, in that way, I think they're probably similar, right? I mean, morality-wise, yes, she's way better than Makima, but I imagine that Makima was similar. I don't think that Makima got, like, a bloodlust high of, like, haha, I love murdering. I think she murdered for, like, no, I'm doing this for utilitarian reasons, actually,
I'm going to give this bag of eyeballs for, blackmail. For utilitarian reasons, really?
Absolutely. I think you've misread her. You think she got some sort of sick pleasure in doing that?
I feel like there's a little bit of both.
No, I think from her perspective, it was like, what, like, mechanically, scientifically, mathematically do I need to do to make this situation go as smoothly as possible? If I walk in there, I fucking scare the shit out of them, then they'll fucking give me what I need. If not, then I gotta kill them. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I really didn't get the vibe that, like, I think to me, it's not like her whole character was robotic, because she got emotional when it came to Chainsaw Man. That was her irrational side. When it came to Chainsaw Man, I mean, I have no doubt she would be like, fuck me. Chainsaw Man. I mean, she wanted to be absorbed by him, so I mean, like, there were aspects of that, but I think when it came to humans, like I said, she looked at humans as dogs, as pets. She didn't have any ill will towards them. She didn't like killing them. She just thought, okay, there's 7 billion little doggies, little puppies out there. If I have to kill a couple thousand to save the rest of the billions, then that's
she's
what I gotta
literally
do.
Amanda Waller, basically, from DC.
Yeah, she's working at a dog pound, and oops, one of the dogs has a terrible disease. It's going to spread to the other ones. I better put that dog down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she likes humans. That was, to me, that's a big part of her character. She actually likes humans. She finds them adorable and fun. And cute, but because of that, she looks down on them, right? She looks down on them like, okay, yeah, they're dogs. I don't want them to die, but she's, you're gonna kill that the same way. Maybe for her, it's like, oh, that's sad, but got an old yeller this one. You know what I mean? It's not like she doesn't look at it as like a moral thing. I don't know. I like to look at Makima like that because it's more like nuanced. I don't think Makima, she did horrible things, but I don't think she was like mustache twirling evil. You know what I mean? She thought what she was doing was good.
Yeah, she was essentially like, oh fuck, it's been so long since I watched the series. The douchebag from Atlas and fucking Ruby.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. It's been too long.
Yeah, no.
Dude from Atlas. Who are we talking about?
The general.
The general?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, because, like, when you really think about Makima's plan, it's fascinating to think about, because, like, she genuinely could have erased, like, imagine her erasing the concept of, like, death, or erasing the concept of rape. That's, like, wow. Like, that's something to think about. Like, damn, like, that, probably make a world better. At least the rape one. A death, you run into like that Family Guy situation where no one can die.
Yeah.
Yeah, jumps off building. But I mean, like, I think that there would have been objective improvements to the world, but also like it comes with negatives, right? Is that Makima probably would have ruled over the world like an authoritarian god that can just like erase concepts at will. And if she thinks the world would be better without a concept, but other people don't agree, it's like, well,
It's exactly why I kind of compared her to the general and Ruby, because like as paranoid as he was, like he was technically correct in how fucked things got,
Yeah, but, it's just interesting that, like, Control Devil inherently liked humans. You know what I mean? Like, that's why just to bring it back to what started this conversation, I don't want to, like, characterize her as someone who got, like, a sick pleasure from killing, because I genuinely believe that she, in her weird, sick, twisted way, she wanted what was best for all of humanity, and what she is perceived to be best for all of humanity.
Yeah. But there's one point I want to bring up here in this week's chapter, right? Bareem is who kind of sicked the entire mob on Ayuta here. And you see him kind of just, acting like a injured whelp here. And kind of rightfully so.
Thank you for bringing that up. You know how I'm really bad at, like, remembering what motherfuckers look like. I didn't realize that this guy at the end was Bareem. I thought it was just some random fucking guy. That makes more sense, yeah.
So, like, he's over here kind of acting like, she did this!
Kill the bitch!
Kill the witch! Burn her! And then that's kind of what set off this, like, moment that you were talking about where, like, everybody is, trying to, like, attack her, and she's, like, devolving into, like, the nut kicking here was a beautiful callback.
Yeah. Like father, like daughter.
And then you see him pull out the gun, because he got access to the gun.
So what then do we think? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember, because was it Bareem? I think it was public safety that said if you turn into Chainsaw Man, we'll kill Nayuta. Bareem, what did Bareem ask him? There was that thing. Bareem was like, what's more important to you, this or that? I can't remember. What was it? Nayuta's life versus being Chainsaw Man? I can't remember what he said. Do you?
I believe it was Nayuta.
I'm gonna go back and see if I can find it.
It was like 8 chapters ago, I think.
It's actually, I think it's more like 10 or 12.
But you were right, and I did put out 2 of my drafts, by the way, for those that are actually following that. So there is some chaos there. They're linked inside the Discord. But like there's so much question of like what the fuck is even going on in the story that kind of just drives me insane, because I want to get moving forward with the plot, right? And it feels like we are technically moving forward with the plot, but we're not at the same time.
Inch by inch.
Yeah. It's frustrating from our perspective as creators. And I talked about this on Twitter because I had somebody, respond like, I don't feel like it's that big a deal. I'm like, but like from a creator perspective, when we're having to fucking go back and reread something from 3 weeks ago to remember, okay, so this little microscopic chess piece moved forward.
Not even 3 weeks ago. It's more like a half a year ago. You know what I mean? Because like, just to give you an idea, I'm going back to find like the Chainsaw Man church stuff, and like
yeah,
because you were saying, oh, it's probably like 8 chapters ago. It literally is like 15 to 20 chapters ago.
You are fucking shitting my dick.
Yeah. Okay. So the chapter where that kid is like talking about the sex room, where it's like, oh, over there you marry her and you make a baby in the sex room in the church. You marry like Kobani's fucking brother or whatever the fuck. That's 140.
If you tell me that was like May of last year, I'm gonna slit my throat.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like you see how long it takes for this to move, and like, and that's kind of, it's just so frustrating. I used to, and like you guys know me, if you've been watching these reviews, I have tried to be the patient one. I've tried so hard to be like, let him cook, but he's been cooking for so long, and there's smoke coming out of the fucking oven, and it's not smelling.
That
great.
was August of this past year.
Yeah. I mean, and like, and all of that Chainsaw Man church buildup was so that okay, now we have the Chainsaw Man riots and zombies, and like that's gonna make them powerful for it's just please
so to put in perspective, right, Chainsaw Man Part 2 started at chapter 98, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are on chapter 154.
Yeah.
And we have moved maybe 8 pieces on the chessboard.
Well, that's hard to quantify, but it's more like, I don't know how to put this. Like, it just felt, there was a sense of like completion, accomplishment. Things are really moving in part 1, right? Like the Bomb Devil arc happening as it did, it felt like so much happened in that arc, and so you know what I mean, like at a reasonable pace. And I think I don't know, I feel like the story is weakened by not having those like nice succinct like beginning end points of arcs, you know. I feel like
and not only that, the inconsistency in the scheduling makes it feel like nothing is happening as well. Because
that makes it even worse. It would still be bad with this pacing.
But
that's just like a shit sandwich on top.
But it would be more bearable from like a weekly perspective, because like, okay, we know what's happening, right? Because we had a period of time when the anime was coming out, right, where like it felt like there was 3-week breaks, 4-week breaks, because he was also helping with the anime. And I was more forgiving then, because, you know, like, okay, he wants to give his input on like the project over there to help like the pacing with that, because like even, you know, early Chainsaw Man, it felt a little floaty with the Katana Man stuff. You know, having went back and read that, like, okay, that's fine. You know, it's not as bad as, say, moving from the Aquarium arc, if we're going to call it an arc, which was in fucking March of last year, basically a calendar year ago, right? Because I'm looking here at like Volume 14's cover on the Viz site. So like chapters 113 to 122 are going to be in that, which also is telling, because that's like more than a normal volume's chapters. Like, to now, it feels like nothing really happened past like the falling shit, right?
To me, it's like, and I don't know how he fucking manages this, but like it feels like so much is happening, but at the same time nothing is happening.
Yeah.
It's very strange. Like, I need to find there was such a good Reddit post about this where they were comparing like the paneling and stuff too. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've exhausted this. Like we've talked it in every angle we possibly could. At this point, it's just hopefully it goes somewhere interesting. But I do feel like, I don't know, I worry that Chainsaw Man's going to go the way of like, not in the same capacity, but like in terms of like its popularity, I worry that it's going to go the way of My Hero Academia, where it falls off super hard. And that'd be super sad to see, because I mean, there was a fucking time when Chainsaw Man was like on top of the goddamn planet, man. I mean, I remember, God, when we were reviewing it back in the heyday, that was so fun. It felt like everyone was talking about it. Our dinky little channel would get thousands of views. There was one review where we got almost 10,000 views. And it was just, and it might have been like, I think it was like the one where darkness shows up in hell or something. I mean, God, it felt like an event.
Right.
Every
like,
chapter. Yeah, go ahead.
Like there's, I fucking, I'm trying to word this a way that doesn't sound, you know, bad.
That's what's nice about One Piece, is that to me every chapter of that still feels like an event.
Right.
And to me, I feel like, and I was gonna make this comparison earlier, Oda, I think one of the reasons he's doing so well still is because he still has passion. He has this story, he's wanted to tell it for so long, and he has almost everything planned out. You know what I mean? So
right.
Like, for him, even though, and I know he's tired, he's talked about it, he's tired, but he's marching towards that finish line. Like he's been talking about everything he set up in his whole story has been for the final arc. You know what I mean? All the pieces are finally in position, and now he's just got to pull it off. So like, but I feel like like we said with Fujimoto, it just feels like he's kind of trudging along. Like, I don't know, maybe this will get somewhere eventually. You know?
Yeah, I feel like the best way to put this is like, when we had this structure in part 1, we could see like the plan, right? We know like there's the apocalypse happening, and we know that the goal here is like, now we have the war between like, that will inevitably happen between Denji and Public Safety because he transformed back into Chainsaw Man, right? We know that he's now a fugitive, right? We get that. It's kind of like at the end of like Dark Knight, you know, like everybody's kind of like fucking, you know, after Batman, but nobody really wants to chase Batman, right? But at the same time, we also don't have any plot for the rest of the characters. What is Asa's goal anymore? You know, if Chainsaw Man is Chainsaw Man, other than stealing the heart maybe to free Denji. But Denji doesn't want to be free. So we'll have like maybe a mini conflict between those two. You know, we have the uselessness of Fumiko to address, because like, what is her purpose anymore since she ran away from her post? Is she going to be hunted now? Is she like AWOL? We don't know. Is she even going to appear again, like you said? We have Bareem here that might kill, you know, Nayuta, and hope that like the next version of the Control Devil might be more like Makima. You know, that could be where that part's going. But at the same time, I don't even think that much has been thought ahead, because we know that Denji will protect his baby girl, you know, because that's true.
That's kind of, again, now we're coming up to, will Fujimoto do, because this is what happens. He writes all these chapters. This has been happening since Falling Devil for me. He'll write a chapter and it'll end on like a thing, and I'll be like, ooh, this has like the potential to go somewhere very interesting narratively, and then it just doesn't. Every time. And it's like, oh, that could be interesting. No, actually, and then it feels like he sets up all these cool ideas, and then they just like get resolved in the most boring way possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like that's entirely fair, because you're right. Like, there was a lot in the church that could have been really interesting, and we just skipped past like 85% of what could have been cool.
Perfect example. You could have had, I wish instead of throwing 60,000 ideas at the wall, he would like stop and focus for a second. Like, okay, what if we had a whole arc around the church, and the church is like the main thing? You know what I mean? Like, you remember when Sword Boy, the last time I saw people really talking about fucking Chainsaw Man on Twitter before it like disappeared into the ether for me, was like when the Sword Devil showed up, and like he was like, I want to be your friend, Denji, and like I remember thinking, okay, we could have like a cool thing, like if it was like part 1 where we're like, okay, we're gonna do one arc here, and this will be the Chainsaw Man church arc, and like the main characters will be Denji, Asa, you know, Nayuta, and then the sword guy, right? And then and then maybe then like the story is like, you know, the sword guy is like drinking the Kool-Aid, and then Denji has to convince him otherwise, and there's like a conflict at the church, and we take the time, like 10 chapters, to actually focus on the church. See, that would be good, because then it doesn't feel like you just introduce this concept for like 3 seconds to exist for like 3 seconds, and then like almost nothing happens from it. And like, yes, okay, the church existed so we could have the chainsaw zombies. But like, it's just like, I guess I just wish he would like pause and like take some of these cool concepts he has and like do something with them. And instead of, because when you're throwing 30,000 cool concepts out at once, but you don't actually like stop and like analyze and like chill out and take the time to do something with them, it's like, well, what's the point?
Right. You know? Also, let's dive back into the church for a second. Remember, at the end of that arc, it was revealed that the church also housed a fucking cache of weapons.
Literally. Oh, okay. You're talking about the weapons. I'm talking about the fucking underage sex rooms.
Yeah,
which, by the way, I was hoping that could have been interesting to address that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we gonna? We're not gonna address that, because they're probably all Chainsaw Man zombies now. They were all in the middle of their underage. I think you might have even brought up that there's probably like pregnant Chainsaw Man zombies.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like it like, or will they turn into like chest bursters and kill their mother? You know, like like,
yo, that'd be sick.
Like there was so much that could have been done with that subplot. Yeah. And we just skip past it to have boring character number 26
to have
over here run away.
3 chapters of like Denji and Nayuta in the middle of like a bunch of nameless, faceless dudes going, kill him. It's like,
you know, like, no.
Do you remember when the fights in this series were fucking like, hey yo, Bomb Devil's here, and she's gonna fucking explode up into the sky, and then fucking like do like an axe kick down that explodes the whole building, and then, or maybe like when we had Flesh Tornado versus Shark Riding fucking Chainsaw Man, or I don't, literally, man, it's like, where's all that? That's what, Falling Devil is cool. Falling Devil is cool, but I feel like it's been so long since
like we had like Denji and Asa on like a chainsaw bike. That was fucking dope. And now we're like, oh, we're having street level Defenders level bullshit, which fine, I get it. like we need like this, you know, the public safety.
Fucking Luke Cage up in here. The Netflix series
that's now part of the MCU. But like, I cannot be asked to fucking care about public safety when I know they're just going to get one-shotted.
The shitty part is that this moment should be huge. And it is,
Right.
you know, like we mentioned it, like this should be a big moment for Denji's character, like we talked about, him casting off all of his, like, all the things that chained him to, like, a normal life. But now I'm scared that in 3 chapters it's going to be, we're back to normal and nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to have date night with fucking Yoshida over here, like, you know, you done fucked up.
Yeah, Yoshida's going to show up and he's going to be like, don't worry, public safety has bought you a new apartment free of charge.
And
nothing meant anything, actually.
You know, because you defended, you know, yourself, and like we understand that you had to do this in the moment. But I still want to be Chainsaw Man. I want to have my harem, and I want to fuck all the bitches.
Because all the build-up has been, hey, if you do this, we're gonna fucking kill you, and we're gonna kill Nayuta. It's like, okay, so now he should be like a criminal on the run, and if that doesn't happen, that's terrible. If somehow we return to like, oh, actually, I'm back to school now, we need to move the goddamn plot along, up the stakes, have characters develop, please.
Yeah, like, if we do not have at least, like, some fallout from this,
something needs to change in the narrative,
then, like, this series has fell off in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's going to be, like, My Hero levels of fall off,
Definitely
like you
not.
were saying. But I feel like it definitely will be remembered as, like, this
Something
really
that
good...
fizzled out.
Yeah, kind of like... You know how I compare, like, if My Hero ended with, like, the Gentle arc, it would have been a much better series, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to end it there with all the stuff that was set up, but yeah.
Yeah, but, like, objectively, like, 95% of the shit that happened after Gentle was dog
I will
shit.
say, yeah, so the A class versus B class was where, like, the first signs of, like, to me. I will say, though, that My Villain Academia I really liked.
That's fair.
But I don't know. But yeah, everything after My Villain Academia was like, okay. It just, I think it kind of Naruto'd, right? Because you remember how Naruto, like, some of the worst of Naruto was, like, the super long war arc they had where Kishimoto, like, decided to focus on, like, fucking random side character number 37 for, like, 5 chapters. And, like, oh, here's, like, the fucking clay guy. Was there a clay? I think there was a rubber guy, a rubber jutsu guy. I
like, Choji got, like, 10 chapters. Tintin got, like, 5 chapters.
Even
Neji.
worse than Choji, it was like, here's the random guy we met once from the hidden village of the stone that and then he fights a guy and seals him in a pot. It's like, what's going on?
Because they're all going to matter somewhat, but they really didn't.
I remember seeing a fucking interview where you could tell Kishimoto was very proud of, like, and I understand the want and desire to be like, okay, I have a huge cast, I want to make sure every single one of them does something, but it's like, all right, it's not really feasible, is it? It's okay, man.
Could you imagine the cast of One Piece if fucking Oda did that?
That's what I'm curious how. So I feel like I'm gonna say it. I feel like that's kind of Oda kind of tried to do that in Wano. Right, because like you've heard my I had complaints about Wano. A lot of people had complaints about Wano, and keep in mind, we must keep perspective here. The worst One Piece arc is better than the best Naruto arc. Literally,
yeah, 100%.
So like as I complain about Wano, keep in mind that it's just bad for Oda. It's still very good. The man is like ungodly talented. I don't know how he does it, but like he tried. I mean, he really, because Wano was something he built up for, I'm not shitting you, 10 years, right? Like longer than the runs of whole.
I remember like in the very beginning of like the first channel, like the main channel, you were talking about Wano.
Yes.
Like what the fuck is going to happen here?
So like when I was in high school still, 2012, 2011 was when they first kind of were starting to be like, okay, we're going to head towards Wano eventually. And then it started around the time we were living together. And then it finished like a year and a half ago. you know?
No, and, like it dead ass was like basically our entire friendship was based around like the you know, like early days we were reading fucking Bleach and watching Ruby, and you were talking about Wano, and you were reading Hunter x Hunter chapters in the fucking computer lab in our college.
The Hisoka Kurolo fight came out when we were going to college together. And I remember reading it in the computer lab, and I was, oh my god, it was so...
Like it's insane how long that was built up, and it kind of like didn't do itself justice.
We're talking about Wano here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the thing with Wano, okay? It's exactly... It's like, you know that study that they did about how, like, humans can only really have, like, 100 friends max or whatever? Like, after a certain point, like, society just, like, devolves, which is why you need to kind of have, like, a bunch of little towns, you know?
Right.
And, like, not to say huge cities are impossible, but, like, it's one of those, like, if you want, like, a nice, tightly knit community, there's, like, a limit. But I feel like the same to be said, because if Oda can't do it, no one can. And he tried in Wano. I mean, there was like an absurd amount of characters, and what that led to was, you know, like in other arcs, he would kind of the cast would be like maybe max 20 people, right? And like if you didn't like maybe a handful of them, that's fine, because they'll be like a little bit I don't care, and then it's back to someone you actually really like. With Wano,
don't like Sanji, you got Zoro over there doing something cool.
Yeah, because every Straw Hat is like. Yeah, every Straw Hat's really cool. Like, I actually don't have a single Straw Hat I don't like. But like usually it's like the side characters. To me, the problem with Wano was he has this like, first of all, I mean, he was flashing between at least 35, 40 different fucking factions and characters and shit. But like there was like he wanted the red scabbards to be like important. They were like important Wano specific characters, and like. Not just me, most people didn't fucking care about them. Like but you could tell he was like, no, they're really important. It's really important that we follow them for like 5 chapters. And I'm just like, I don't care. So yeah, I mean, all this to say, if Oda can't do it, no one can. And like, I think that Chainsaw Man and Fujimoto's writing style really, really, really was at its peak when he had nice, small, like, I don't know, succinct arcs. And it just... Because think about it. A couple chapters ago, we got, I don't remember what their fucking names were. Shocker. But, like, the fucking, like, Hammer British Devil and the fucking, who else was there? The one that, remember, like, Katana Man was in there. They stormed the church.
Yeah, we had
like,
Whip. We had the...
No, but the Hammer one. You remember? He was like, oh, you're all just puppins. What the fuck? Remember him?
Yeah, like,
do you think he'll even be important? Or, like, do anything? Or even show up again? Ever? Who knows?
Like, I doubt it. Like, at this point, like, I really doubt, like, half of the cast we met in part 2 will ever matter again.
I like story... Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And that's unfortunate because, like, there have been some interesting characters introduced. I feel like, at the end of the day, all that's going to matter is going to be Bareem, who I fucking despise.
Well, I think you're probably supposed to despise him, but yeah.
But, like, he's nothing. He's...
he's pretty boring. He's just he's unironically Makima simp. That's...
Yeah, like, there is nothing interesting about this character whatsoever. Fami will be...
I like Fami. I do like Fami.
I like Fami. Yoshida, Nayuta, and Denji.
And you know how much better
Asa slash Yoru.
And Asa. How much better... Okay, if he cut, like... half of the random background people and just really focused on that group for a while, God, it'd be so much fucking better.
Yeah, like, where the fuck is Kishibe, who's supposed to be the puppet master for all the bullshit going on, right? Where he's supposed to be, like, controlling this private division and, you know...
You would assume. A lot of that is us assuming. I don't think they've even mentioned Kishibe. You gotta assume that he's controlling a lot of the stuff, but, like, we don't know that for sure, just to clarify.
But, like... Yeah. He was appointed, like, the head of this fucking division.
Was he?
That is, at the end of part 1, he was kind of taking on the duties there.
I'm just making sure you don't accidentally, like, take up a lot of headcanons. Like, we really don't know. I'll go and read the... I mean, but again, you gotta assume, right? Like, he was pretty integral in, like, the process of beating Makima, so you gotta assume he got, like, fucking Nobel Peace Prize and shit, you know?
Right. And then, like, Quan coming back would be on the behest of, you know, the dude who simped over her for years, and, like, he realized, like, oh, she's a lesbian, I gotta back the fuck off, right? Because I don't want to be problematic.
Unproblematic Kishibe. Here, I'm trying to read what...
Like...
Yeah, okay. So I'm reading through what he's saying here. He entrusts, you know, Nayuta to him, blah, blah, blah. If we leave her with the government, she'll turn out like Makima again, Ida, blah, blah, blah. And then he does say this. He says, hold on, wait, I'm going to entrust her to you. And he says, I'm about to get busy. Like, I'm about to get real busy. I'm going to leaving her in your care would be the best. So he says, the last thing we see him say is, I'm going to be really busy. So he's doing something.
Right. Like, and that would be heading up this division. Like, that's the only fucking logic. That's the only logical point.
No, I like the idea that he's got like a super secret mission. Like, he might even be overseas doing some shit. Like he might be like working on an idea for the Nostradamus apocalypse thing. I have no doubt with Kishibe. I'm very confident he will show up again at some point. But yeah,
like there's like. And if that's the case, like, what the fuck is he doing, and why hasn't he come in to rein all this bullshit in? Because we know that Yoshida was his go-to, you know, during, all this shit.
It's most likely, he brought Yoshida in, probably, yeah.
So, like, where is Mr. Top of the Verse? Like there's so much.
Where is he when we need him?
Where is
when
he
the world needed him most? He vanished.
Like
he's day drinking is what's happening. He's fucking
okay.
he's like asleep in a park, fucking day drinking.
Like I want to be hyped for Chainsaw Man again. I want to be hyped. But I cannot be bothered to care about 95% of what's going on right now. That's the final thoughts for me.
I won't say 95%. But I mean, it's just like the week to week chapters. I mean, luckily, like they're very easy chapters to read. They take nothing to read, so that's one of the reasons why
I read this while I was in the back of an Uber.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's like they're not hard to read. So it's like I don't think it's ever something I would drop unless it got like stupid bad. Whereas like Promised Neverland was like a lot.
It was torture.
Like, a lot
it was
to
torture.
Read. Yeah.
And I finished it, and it was still torture.
Yeah, stronger man than I.
Like unironically, they could use that as like fucking torture method. Is like reading the last like 85% of Promised Neverland.
Unironically, but actually ironically, the degradation of the English language brought to you by Vex. I always think back to an early iDubbbz quote where he's talking about. I don't remember. It might have been Rice Gum. It was like because Rice Gum would say literally all the time, and he was like, "No, I don't think Rice Gum is the person who killed the term literally, but I do think that he's dancing on its grave."
Bring me back peak iDubbbz, please.
Yeah, I want to fucking congratulate him on his kind of character change though. A lot of people. There's too many people that
who never evolve. And never better
that,
themselves.
But also, I know people that are like, iDubbbz is like a beta simp cuck now. And it's like, no, man, I mean, he just fucking looked back on his past self and didn't like what he was doing. I think that's very impressive.
It's called character development.
Yeah.
Maybe you should try it sometime.
And like, it's tough because the type of content, it is true though, the type of like the content cop shit, like you can't really get away with that anymore. You know, like I mean,
no.
You'd probably get like sued. You know what I mean? Like
100%. If you try to do a content cop on like fucking Pokemon, you get sued into the ground.
Well,
you know?
Yeah, I mean, specifically if you go like as far as he did, where like you fucking
100%.
Which I mean, no doubt was fucking hilarious. Like it was great, but like it's interesting, right? Like it felt like now Chainsaw Man's officially over. You can leave if you don't care, but now we're just talking. There was like a point in time where the internet felt like disconnected from real life. It was like a separate zone where anything goes, right? Like you could just do the most obscene shit on the internet and it didn't matter. But now like the worlds are like the real world and the internet are like so merged that like it does feel like if iDubbbz was to like try to do like content cop tier shit, he would like really get in trouble.
Yeah, no, like, and like it's not even just like the worlds have merged, like the platforms have merged into like all being the same thing.
And then if he gets banned, he's banned everywhere.
Yeah. Because like it looked to the fucking changes on TikTok where they're like pushing vertical or like horizontal video now.
Did you see my retweet on that?
Oh yeah, I responded to it.
Oh, it's just so annoying, bro. It's like everything is ruined by fucking optimization and money making schemes, and it's just like TikTok was cool, bro, but I feel like it is like ruined now. Like, cause like I don't know about you, my algorithm is so shit now. Like I used to get cool stuff, and now every other fucking TikTok is like trying to sell me something.
You can go into like your settings and block like the hashtag TikTok shop and all that. Yeah, I did that, and like my feed improved immediately. That's good. Like there is so like hashtag TikTok shop and hashtag shop. I believe it's the two. I had a video that kind of showed me how to do it. But like unironically, like when this like era of content kind of came into play that we're in now, where like you gotta like push your shit onto every platform. Like you'd see like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and like all this shit kind of bleed into that. And now TikTok is literally unironically turning into YouTube.
How fucking silly is that, right? It's like TikTok was the thing, and then every platform was turning into TikTok, and now like it just feels like everything has to like you have like a thing where it's like, oh wow, I really like this thing for the one specific service it has, but then that service is like, guys, numbers got to go up, lines got to go up, it's very important, like, number goes up, what can we do? If we expand into this, and it's like, no, that just makes me want to use it less. I like having my TikTok for my TikTok and my YouTube for my YouTube. YouTube is for long form, TikTok is for short form. But now, and I miss this. I liked it when remember when TikTok was like 30 seconds, a minute max? I loved that. Now,
I didn't mind
real quick. Every other TikTok I fucking get is like 5 minutes long. And I'm like, dude, I miss when I feel like I used to be able to scroll. I watched like fucking 5 different videos there. They were all like 30 seconds max. They got the point across. Now it's like every other video is like a dude rambling for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh.
I got access to the 10-minute feature when I did that video of me to Untitled by Knucklepuck, where I doused myself in fucking vodka.
Oh yeah.
Like, literally, like, I took a vodka bath, and, like, I got access to the 10-minute feature because it went off so well. And I'm like, I am the last person that needs access to this feature.
Well, it makes me not even want to, like, scroll anymore. Like, what I liked about TikTok was, like, it's there for, like, oh, okay, I have, like, 15 minutes to waste while I wait for my doctor's appointment or something. You know what I mean? And then I can just go, bip, bip, bip. But, like, now, I feel like it's self-defeating. Remove the whole point of TikTok was, like, you could just scroll endlessly and you felt like you've actually watched, like, completed things. But now it's, like, now what I find myself doing is I scroll, and and I'm getting, like, I watch, like 5 seconds of a guy talking, and I'm like, boring. I'm not even watching anything anymore. It's just like, oh my god.
like unironically, like, you know, one side I can use like my band's page to fucking, you know, put out like a clip of a song, right? I can do that. You know, that's helpful, right? I can put like 30 seconds, 45 seconds of that on there. Cool, whatever. But like at the end of the day, like I can sit there and like rant about like the industry and what's changing, and that's a great feature for like that type of content. But at the end of the day, like TikTok, you're right. Like it was meant to be the short form thing because it's based off of like Musical.ly.
Yeah.
And it's
anything
like
you
silly
want to
little
say,
dance.
you should be able to condense it into like a minute. You know what I mean? Like, you know, obviously, you know, and then
there's a point for like the 3-minute video feature. That's about as far as that platform should have ever went.
Well, and then if you maybe you want to put like a minute of like a summarized, like here's my summarized point, and then if you want my long form points, here's a YouTube video. You know what I mean? Like,
but they decrease the views of that because they're like, you're linking an outside site, so they're like, well, we want to give any fucking feature here to that, and that's the annoying side of it. It's like, fuck it.
And that's what it comes back to, right? Is like the incentive to monetize ruins everything that was once good. Like, do you remember? I know you remember because you're a little older than me. Like, do you remember when the internet felt fucking free from that? Like, just like no ads. It was just like people making things because they were passionate. Remember like early Newgrounds?
Yeah, no,
Dude,
like
oh
100%.
I'm so nostalgic for it, and I know this is like the biggest like boomer shit. Like I you know, as I'm hitting 30, I'm feeling the fucking like nostalgic for my time shit. I know, but like, God, I just miss. I mean, and that's I think that's anything, right? Any new medium, there's like a zone of time before like the monetizers get to it, and then it's like, oh, this is profitable now, and then you get like, I mean, dude. TikTok alone, and there's still good stuff, but every once in a while, not even every once in a while, I'd say like 50% of the videos I see are very disingenuous, and like, you know, there's a thing now that like I couldn't even have comprehended back in the day, but now, you know, you get money based off of any engagement, so there are people that will do like straight bait, just straight like they'll just lie and like create a whole character to pretend to like believe something they don't, just to get people to like the goal is to get people mad at them in the comments. And like,
oh, 100%.
As a kid, I couldn't even have comprehended that. Like it was always like, no, I want people to like.
We grew up in the era of Drama Alert.
No. But that was a guy talking about the drama. I didn't get the vibe that Keemstar was trying to get people to hate him. People just hated him. I don't think he was like, yes, I want people to hate me. I don't ever think that. I just think he was hateable.
That's fair.
I don't know. I could be wrong. That was the vibe I got. What I'm saying
I always thought he was just like a caricature of himself.
Maybe.
I always got like just, you know.
To me, his view whoring felt like, oh, this is the easy thing to do. I can just like literally like read out people's tweets, right? Whereas now I'm seeing a thing on TikTok where like genuineness and like is just gone, because like people can like Vosh was going over a thing called he called it paranoia porn, and he found this TikTok of this woman who all of her fucking content is like feeding into like specifically, usually it's like a white woman phenomenon of like being fucking like thinking that they're gonna get like fucking sex trafficked at their car. You know those, like, have you ever seen those videos where it's like, oh, if you see like a fucking an envelope on the hood of your car, don't go to your car because they're waiting to snatch you. And it's like, Statistically, sure, can that happen? Sure, but like the way they do it is like, they make people think that like motherfuckers living in the middle of like fucking Nebraska or like the fucking like Mexican cartel is here to fucking steal you and sell you.
Oh yeah,
you know
well that was
mean?
a thing that was going around Facebook, like mid like Cambridge Analytica drama, like
yes, and
it just bled over to a new means of media, and it's unfortunate. Like, like half of my TikTok feed is like queer news and everything. Like I'll see like Aaron in the morning and all this stuff about like all the new bills that are being passed to like try and ban trans people from existing. And
yeah, there are people that are genuine and good. You just have to find
Yeah.
them. And but real quick, what I was saying though is like the thing the Bosch was going over was like there's this woman who got millions of views, and all she does is she does this video where it's like, oh, I'm staying in a hotel tonight, but I'm I'm scared I won't be safe. So she does all the she takes the fucking ironing board and props it against the door, and she has all these like little like separate alarms that like if the door moves at all it'll like fucking screech at her, and of course she's selling all of these. She has like a link to like some store.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you got your Amazon affiliate link in bio.
Yeah, and then but if you go to her actual TikTok page, you immediately get the sense like, oh, that's all a character. It's not even that she actually is like, no, I'm really scared, and because like she has like videos where she's like making fun of like how successful those TikToks are. And she's like, yeah, I'm making all this money. It's crazy. Just like the level sincerity is like so dead. You have to fucking seek it out.
Yeah, like the shit that I'll do on that platform is I'll talk about like the music.
You'll just rant. I love that.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's like a place to fucking make short form content that isn't going to get bogged down by YouTube for me. But at the same time, like I see those videos and it's like, oh, I used to follow bar chemistry. I doubt you know who this is.
No, but maybe he does like drinks. Like
yeah, he used to just do like a drink of the day. But because he got so popular, he created it's literally something that's been around for years, like a hangover cure, right? And it's essentially like the same thing you could get back when I was growing up and going to college and binge drinking, right? Like my community college days. Like I could fucking go out and get like the same thing at a fucking gas station, right? But like, he's like, because this is my brand, it's better than the shit that you've been able to get for like 85 years. And it's like, whatever, man. So he went like on a 6-day bender. I'm just laughing at like the stupidity of trying to make this product seem believable. And I'm like, dude, first of all, no, the fuck you're not going on a 6-day bender because your liver would literally die. And secondly, like, it's very easy because you're drinking like all clear liquor to like water that down with water, or just be drinking water and no one would be the wiser.
So he's creating like a whole narrative to get more views and more money, is what you're saying.
Yep, he's trying to market this like hangover cure. I'm like, unfollowed. I'm done.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is like, luckily, they always exist. You can find them, but you have to kind of like seek out like the content creators that are doing it for like they're genuine. The big thing is like, do they enjoy it, or are they just like, I don't know, just empty voids that are just making fucking shit to get money, right? Like I've been really enjoying Smosh's return. I don't know if you've watched others, because
I watched a couple.
They feel like they're not even just their skits, by the way. The skits are fine, they're good, they're whatever. Watch the Smosh rewinds. Do you know what I mean by the Smosh rewinds, where they sit there for
No,
like
I haven't seen that.
Oh my god, can I send you one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so that more, because like I like genuine content creators. One of the reasons I liked OG Achievement Hunter like over like I don't know, like I liked the vibe of like, these are just actual friends and they're sitting down and they're talking, right? And they're like enjoying being with each other. It's so important to me that like my content creators that I'm watching feel like they genuinely love what they're doing. Like Game Grumps, for example, I can hardly watch them anymore because it really feels like they're just like doing that so they can continue pursuing their actual passion, just like making music and shit, right? But every once in a while they'll play a game that they're actually having fun with, and it's like, okay, now I'm enjoying this because they're actually enjoying this and they're not just fucking playing this to get their views for the day. But anyway, were we going somewhere with this? I've lost the train of thought here.
We were talking about like the shill for view shit.
Yeah.
But like, you're right. Like I that's why I like Amelie and Sayu's like VTubing collaborations. Like they just did like a Smasher Pass of monsters, which was hilarious.
I just saw recently that she's gonna do a Smasher Pass of Baldur's Gate 3 characters.
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
If she does not smash Karlak, she's canceled.
I'm sure she will. She seemed pretty based when we met her.
Oh my God. But like like that. I like even like Ray's stuff, right? Like I've been watching a lot of like his Mario Party compilations.
Yeah, he's having a lot of fun with Chibi too.
Yeah, like
Chibi-Doki.
those two together is just like pure unmitigated chaos.
Yeah,
I love it.
And like that's why like I just don't understand when people watch like something like I'm trying to think of a good example of like just a soulless shitty content like yeah, I don't know, maybe like Mr. Beast. I mean like yeah, like you know it just feels like you know the content there it's not like the person, but like how much money he's able to spend, right? And I don't want to listen. It's overplayed to shit on Mr. Beast. He seems, for a rich guy, decent. You know, like he does spend a lot of his money on good shit. So I'm not gonna shit on him too hard. He's not my favorite guy.
I despise his content.
Yeah, his content's very sloppy, right? Like, and not sloppy in terms of like not well made, but like it's slop, right?
Yeah.
It's like here piggies, come to the trough to get your slop. You know,
the children yearn for Mythbusters,
dude. Yeah, sweet. That's such a good point, bro. Because then you can get all those explosions, but then like you learn something, bro.
Right.
Oh,
but
my
like,
God.
look at the shit he's put up on like Twitter, right? Like all of that would just literally be a Mythbusters episode.
Right. Well, it's MythBusters without the substance. It's MythBusters
Right.
without like, oh, here's the physics and you know, and I found
Yeah, because I literally watched the recent one he put up there just to see like what it was, and like the way it's edited, it literally just felt like the fucking.
I watched
like,
this. That's actually why he's fresh in my mind. The one where he puts a train into a pit.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
literally like functions like literally like an early MythBusters episode before it came out. Like they hated each other really, but
Right.
like
but more.
But they still made decent content when they even hated each other. Like,
yeah, that is interesting. Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess it's just like, it's just, I think we're gonna hit a moment, you and I mean, it happens to everyone. I think we're gonna react to it better because we're gonna try to not be reactionaries. But like, our moment is coming, if not already here, where content and society and culture moves beyond like us. And we're gonna be very like, oh, these damn kids, yeah, you know.
No, like literally, I see shit on my For You page. I'm like, what are you saying? Like,
yeah, I've done pretty good at like keeping up with like the vernacular, you know, like skibbity toilet, phantom tax. Like
Phantom tax.
Like I'm pretty good at kind of that part, but a lot of it is like you know, to me the biggest divide is the attention span thing. I hate.
We are going to have a study in like 5 years of like how TikTok ruined like the attention span more than any fucking media ever.
Can I tell you a red flag for me? If you ever use like the video speed up function, red flag. Like I understand the urge to do so, but you need to resist that.
I will use it to skip past an ad.
That's fine. I'm talking. Yeah, sure. That's fine. No, I don't even mean like the double tap to skip 10 seconds. I mean the like video speed.
Oh yeah.
I hate that. And by the way, that's on Netflix.
Oh, I know.
What the fuck?
I did use that
No.
to... let me finish. I used that to try and get to a moment in a fucking video for a thumbnail.
Sure,
because
that's
I did
fine.
not want to scroll
Imagine.
like 10, 20, 30, you know, through it.
Imagine sitting down to watch like, I don't know, Star Wars or something. And it's like, no, actually, I need to watch this 2 times speed. I'd kill myself. I'd kill myself and that person. I like, please, bro. It's so bad. Like, I don't know. Just like you need to take time to enjoy things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like also stop multitasking. Get like you can a little bit. I understand. Just give yourself a chance to like put the phone down, close the second screen, and like pull up a movie and just watch it. You have to. You have to for your sake of your fucking sanity. Please.
Yeah. I literally, like, on one screen, I still have Spotify open, because as soon as we're done recording this, I'm going to hop in and play Fortnite with a couple friends. And
no, that's just music. That's fine.
Yeah. I'll either have, like, music or a podcast on in the background as we play a video game. So I'm, like, not feeling... And it is stupid as shit, as I don't feel productive if I'm not doing more than one thing, and I hate
understand that. Wait, I genuinely, I totally get that. I've felt that before. As your friend, I'm asking you to try to push past that feeling. Because, like, yes, I totally know what you mean. There's this weird thing where, like, because I want to sit down and read a book, but I'm like, but I'm not being productive enough. That feeling has been drilled into you by the capitalist society we live in.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If you're not making money, if you're not doing 30 things at once, It's a lie, okay?
100% a
There is
lie.
nothing more. There's something satisfying about putting your full attention towards something. You know what I mean? Like, because to me, the realization that I had, and even if you think you can, you can't, I assure you. There's been studies on this. Our brains are not developed to split our attention two ways. You can't, if you're playing a game that requires any sort of like actual focus, like cognitive focus, you're not actually listening to that podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
No, it's
you're
just
not
background
comprehending. And that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like that was a thing for me, was like, if it's a podcast I actually want to listen to.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to
100%.
fucking have that on in the background of like something that I'm actually that I'm doing that needs thought, because then I'm gonna miss it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the one of the what I've noticed is there's different like sides of the brain for different tasks. Like, I can listen to a podcast while driving, because I think driving is just very like, it's an autopilot thing. You don't really got to think about it. You know what I mean? And different types of games too. Like, I can't play Zelda and listen to a podcast because like there's puzzles involved. But I can play Celeste because it's just jumpy, reacty brain.
Yep.
You know what I
No,
mean?
like I can play Fortnite and listen to a podcast. Like I'll have fuckface on in the
but
background.
not like Binding of Isaac, probably. Or
No,
yeah,
like
because you got to
Binding of
think where you're
Isaac
going.
or
Yeah.
like fucking Baldur's Gate. I want to actually experience the story, you know, and focus on like what's going on there. I will 100% focus down on something like that. But at the same time, like if it's like a run and gun, like I'm playing Apex Legends or something, I can just like fucking throw on like a nothing podcast that I listen to occasionally.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, my final, one of my pleading messages to people is just like, allow yourself time to relax and not feel like you need to do 30 million things. I mean, there's a reason that like all these fucking big YouTubers, whenever they like retire from YouTube, what's like one of the big things they always do? They say, "Oh, I've been reading more." Right? I've been challenging myself to complete a book like once a week. You know, there's something really nice about like removing yourself from the feeling that like the hustle and bustle of society. I gotta do this. I gotta get this done. Just take a breath.
Yep.
And to do something that takes you a little bit, like a long time. Because you don't not every task needs to be like a micro task that you can complete in 3 seconds to get your tiny little hit of dopamine. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you need to take time to enjoy yourself. And that's something like, as I've kind of stepped back from being the primary content creator on the other channel, like I've kind of just let Party James and Luke and all them kind of have their own ideas and do their own things. I've had time to do things like actually sit down and read One Piece and finish Fire Force and do all these things that I kind of put off for the sake of like content. And that's why I enjoy doing like this and like the occasional like Power Rangers watch throughs and all that stuff, where like I can enjoy the thing that I'm doing, but I'm not the primary focus of all of the things, because unironically, I kind of made myself the face of the brand, you know, which I hate in hindsight, that like we didn't just like make the mascot like the face of the brand, and like that could be like the fucking like, I hate using this.
The brand where?
Of like Control Chaos, right? Like,
I don't think you're the face of the brand. I've never thought. I think it is the mascot. You're the face of your brand on your Twitch, but I don't think the channel. You're the face of the brand.
Like, but like I've always been the person to be the mouthpiece, right? Like,
well, but how would you make the mascot the mouthpiece? It's a mascot.
Yeah, you could use. There's these channels that like have like this. It's stupid, but like the voiceless like AI style voice. I'm
pretty anti-AI and on principle. I don't even want to fuck with it.
No, like, but like,
just like a text to speech, like a Microsoft Sam. Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
Like anybody be the voice of it on that given moment. Like, hey, this week, like Luke is taking over, like the mascot to be the voice, or like you.
I do not want to hear his voice coming out of Chimera.
Chimera.
Listen, Luke, I love you, buddy, but I like to lewd Chimera, and I don't think I could lewd Chimera with that voice coming out of it. In my head, Chimera is always.
If there was a Brit, it would be David Tennant. Let's be real here.
Yeah, it's funny how the spectrum of British accents, it really goes from attractive to unattractive. I'm so sorry, Luke. I'm so sorry. It's just not
like give me Helsing abridged Saris.
Oh, so good. Who is a trans? I forget which trans man, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes. You guys would get together so well. Look at that. You've both run in the complete opposite direction of your birth genders. You could just run into each other's arms.
Hey, if you're single.
Dude, honestly, yeah, like, ooh, very good. Smoking.
I jest, but
no,
my
they're
DMs are open.
they're very. I'm trying to think. I don't want to be. It feels so. I'm trying to compliment how you look in a not creepy way. You look lovely. I don't remember your name. No whacking, I think, was their username. Hold on.
I genuinely do.
Because they used to edit for Team 4 Star as well.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm pretty sure it's no whacking.
But like,
no, shut up. I'm finding it. Yeah, it's Jesse Nowak. Yep, that's who that's their name. Damn, they transitioned well too.
Yeah, it's insane.
They have a really good they did a whole video on like their transition as well. Wow, yeah. Look at them.
Good I've kind of committed myself to doing like one a year of like my progress.
By the way, you know what you need to do? Voice training. Do your voice training. I saw that there's a bit that Vosh did recently where because I don't know much about the trans experience, but he was making jokes about how like all the trans girls, they need to do their voice training, but they don't want to because it's a pain in the ass.
I don't want to have to relearn how to sing.
Right. So Vosh was like, every hour I'm going to look in the camera and say, "Do."
Oh shit.
All right, technical difficulties there. Probably just the universe telling us we were going too long because that shit was about to hit 2 hours. Although, great video. Great. This is why like, I wish we were like popular enough to just like have like an off-topic podcast. We could talk about fucking anything. I love talking to you, man. I really do.
Yeah, like that's essentially what I've let the other channel become is like whatever the fuck we want to do.
Well, that's kind of why I keep the focus as Chainsaw Man because baits in those sweet views. Anyway, point being,
but like that's why I wouldn't mind picking up another manga and just making this like the manga channel.
We can try for sure. Anyway, Vosh, yes, he has a joke where he recently said something on the stream where he was like, every hour I'm going to look into to the camera and be like, do your voice training.
Yeah, like. When I stop, making more growly, vibey music like that, then I'll, focus more on voice training.
I remember what led up to that joke. He was making the point that, like, because obviously he's pro legalizing weed, but he was like, you know how, like, the internet hates nuance? Like, any nuance cannot exist. He was talking about how, like, weed is fine, but if you use it as like a crutch, it can like stop you from improving your life in other ways, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you'll appreciate this because you like South Park. He said there was like a line from South Park of all places that really described it well, where it was like the most dangerous thing about weed is it can stop you from wanting to improve your life in other ways or something, or it can stop you from wanting, or stop you from I don't know.
It's kind of like
Does that sound familiar? I can't think of what the quote was.
I know what you're referring to.
Let me see if I can find it.
It was during, I believe, the Tegrity Farms arc. Or it might have been like maybe it was during when Randy got access to medical marijuana because he nuked his balls in a microwave to get medical weed. But like there definitely is, and that's any addiction, by the way. Like,
I found it. Yep. Okay. This is what this was Vosh's point. He said, so this is Randy talking, apparently. It says, the truth about marijuana is it's not going to make you kill people. It's most likely not going to fund terrorism. But, well, son, pot's going to make you fine with being bored. And it's when you're bored that you should be learning some new skill or discovering some new science or being creative. But if you smoke pot, you may grow up and find that you aren't good at anything. So, obviously, part of that is off. But it was the part specifically where it's like it makes you okay with, like, monotony in your life, right?
Yep.
So he was saying, literally all he was saying was, like, weed's fine occasionally, but don't like do it so much where like it at moments in your life where you would work to improve your life, rather instead you just smoke weed to dull the pain, right?
Yeah.
And then that led to like one of the examples he used was like, you trans girls out there, instead of doing your voice training, you hate your voice and then you smoke weed, instead do your voice training. But yeah, so
like that's 100% a valid point. Like, but it also leads into like any addiction falls into that trap. Like me with booze, like I used it to numb the pain instead of like fucking sitting there and actually improving my life. I'm just like, well, fuck it, I ain't going to get anywhere anymore, so I'm just going to drink away.
Well, you know what I do? One of the most effective like anti-depression measures you can take is to like try to learn a new skill. You know what I mean? Like, okay, what's something you always wanted to do? Work towards it. Like that's me recently. I bought like a bunch of yo-yos. I even bought like a professional yo-yo. Like a really good one from like a yo-yo website. And the good thing about yo-yos is even the good ones are very cheap because they're fucking yo-yos. So they're very simple.
It's crazy. Like that's something that really ties into like all your special interests too, because you have Killua and Bridget and all these characters that you want.
Because I want to be able to cosplay a character one day and actually just be yo-yoing on the con floor, which would be very sick. But yeah, so that's been really fun. Anyway. This is a 2-hour video, and now I have to stitch a 3-minute chunk onto the end of a fucking hour and 50-minute chunk. Great, love that. So yeah, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, like that seems like a good lesson to kind of end it on. Actually, after all the chaos,
aren't we such great content creators? Praise us in the comments.
Yeah, feed my praise king. Bye.
Do your daily prayers to your content overlords. Goodbye.